Welcome back. Now, one of the things you can do with the effects box is you can do two effects at a time. So for example, let's say that we were going to continue. We were going to use a border. But then what we also wanted to do was we wanted to add in another effect. So what we can do is we can then click add another effect. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do a second effect. In this case, we're going to add in a filter effect. Now we're going to customize each effect. In this case, we're just going to customize the border. We're then going to customize our filter also. We're going to invert the color. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add in another effect. This time we're going to add in another effect, and we're going to add in the capture info effect. So now we basically have three effects that we're going to be capturing at the same time. So we're going to go to our capture button. We're going to capture, in this case, a file. We're going to open up that file. It's going to open up into our editing screen with the three effects inside of that image. You're going to see all three of them here. If we want to go back and we want to redo the same image with different effects, what we can do is we can then remove the effects if we don't like them and the way that they came out, and then we can capture the image again. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. You're going to see a Snagit menu across the top, and basically each of these menu items control certain functions. If you go into the file area, what you can do is you can import presets from other Snagit installations that you have. You can export your presets so that you can use them on Snagit if it is installed on another personal computer. You can use this link to close your capture window. It typically means you can bring it back by going to this area and clicking on it to bring it back. You also have your preferences as to how Snagit treats your captures. You're going to click Cap Preferences, and you're going to be able to control how Snagit does your captures. And again, most of this you'll want to look at again once you actually start doing your captures. You have capture, specific preferences, as well as hotkeys. And again, you're going to use your hotkeys using Snagit on a regular basis. One thing to note is that when you have Snagit installed, you can use your print screen button on your keyboard wherever it is. If you click the print screen button, you're going to see your capture window become available to you. In order to make the capture lines go away, you're going to click the escape button. And then you'll see that your capture window will come back. In the edit screen, you can reset all of your current settings. You can also manage your custom program destinations. You can control different aspects of the programs that your images can open into. So for example, we can control how Snagit uses MS Paint. We can control how Snagit uses Adobe Photoshop. When we're doing videos, we can control how Snagit uses Windows Media Player. We also have a view command. It's here that we're going to have our output preferences. When you open up, basically you're going to be able to control how Snagit interacts with your output. And in each case, you'll be able to customize all of your output available settings. Now again, some of this you'll want to leave on the default until you actually start using some of these settings on a regular basis. And then in your help menu, you have other logistical aspects of using Snagit. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now the third tab down is for video, and you can create a video with specific sections of your screen, or you can record an entire window. So in this case, we're going to record an entire window. And when we do that, we can then look at our option. We can use a specific selected window size or use a fixed size. We can choose to have the video previewed in our editor. We can choose whether we want to capture our cursor or whether we do not want to capture our cursor. We can choose to have our microphone on, and by default, you'll notice that the system audio will not be recorded. But we can record it and add it to our screen share recording. Now what we're going to do is we're going to click the capture button and we're going to create a short video. Now what you can do with this video, of course, is you can do a demonstration for someone using Snagit. So we're going to click the capture button. What's going to happen then is the window is then highlighted. Once we click inside, you'll notice then that this area will then be enabled. In order to start the recording, we're going to click this button, and that's going to start the recording process. There'll be a countdown, and then you'll notice that the recording will then start. When you've completed the recording, then what you're going to do is you're going to click this blue button. That's going to finish the recording. The video will then be processed and will then be available inside of your Snagit editor. You'll then have the option of creating a GIF file or a PNG file with some of the frames. In order to save this video, you'll go to your file command, you'll then save this video, and you'll save it as an MP4 file. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now we're going to start with the capture window that we have here on our screen, and we're going to use the all-in-one capture feature. And basically what we're going to start by doing is clicking this capture button. We are going to use the default settings, which is Snagit will then take the image that we create and put it into the Snagit editor. We're not going to copy it into our clipboard. We are going to include the cursor in our capture. We're going to leave off the 5-second delay. So what we're going to do is we're going to click this capture button. Now remember, what we can also do is we can click the print screen button, but for the sake of this video, what we're going to do is we're going to click the capture button. What we're then going to see are going to be the capture parameters. And basically what we're going to do without clicking on our mouse is we're going to move it to the uppermost point that we're going to start our capture. And then we're going to click on the mouse button, and then we're going to start to draw the capture screen. Once we've drawn the entirety of the capture screen that we want, we're then going to release the mouse button. And then our capture is then ready for us to decide what we want to do with the capture. What we can do is decide to turn this capture into an image. When we click on this image, what's going to happen is that the capture is then going to open into the Snagit editor. And this is where we can use the menu items to begin to work with our image. What we can do then with this image is we can take the file command. We can then save this image as the form that we want it to be. We're going to click Save As. Now we can save this as a number of different kinds of images as demonstrated by this drop-down menu. So what we're going to do is decide to save this as a PNG file, and we're going to give this file a name. What we're then going to do is click the Save button. What you're then going to notice here at the bottom of our editor, you're going to see our image that we have available to us, and you're also going to see the form that we saved it to. What we're now going to do is we're going to minimize the Snagit editor window, and we're going to do that in this area at the top right. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now inside of your Snagit menu, you're going to have your basic settings. Now again, you can move this Snagit menu to your taskbar by using the minimize key. You can bring it back by going to click on Snagit. That's going to bring it back to where you want it to be. You have some basic settings. Basically, if you want to make sure that your capture or screenshot is automatically previewed inside of your editor, you're going to indicate that with this control. If you want it to be copied to the clipboard, you're going to indicate it with this control. So this will also move the capture to your clipboard automatically. If you want to make sure to capture the cursor inside of your image, you can do that. If you don't want to, you can turn that off. Now, in order to set up your captures, what you can do is you can turn on a 5-second delay, which the process will not start right away until you get fully set up. Again, by default, this is going to be turned off. One tab down, you have specific settings for your image. If you want to grab the text inside of an image, you can indicate that inside of this control. You can also grab a specific region, window. You can grab the full screen or a scrolling window. And again, we're going to be looking at these in other videos. You can have certain effects in what you capture, and you're going to be able to indicate that here in this menu. And you have all the same controls if you're grabbing an image. And one of the things you're going to notice is that when you're using the grab text, there are going to be some of these controls that are not going to be available. When you're grabbing a specific region, those options will come back. Now, of course, with Snagit, you can capture and create a video. If you're going to do that, you have options that are going to be available to you. If you want to have your webcam as part of the capture, you can turn that on. You can also make sure to capture your microphone or your voice while you're doing your capture. You're going to see that you can capture a region or window when you're doing video, and that you can share your video into certain places. For example, when you complete your video, you can have it shared into Screencast, Camtasia in order to be edited, or some other areas for your video. So before you start a series of screen captures, you're going to want to set your preferences before you start the process. If you determine that you're going to do an image, you're going to do these settings. If you're going to be capturing into a video, you're going to be working with these settings. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video.